Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit the subscribe button. There you go, right down there. If you want to be among the first to hear my weekly takes, NFL, college football, more, right there.
I don't know if you remember me ever saying this, but I'm a big believer that one of the best things to happen to the NBA was LeBron's Heat team losing that first year, because it made every other year of that era feel so much more important. Year two, holy shit, if they lose here, they're going to break it up. Year three, all right, they won, but we've seen them lose. You know what I mean? Can they do it? If they don't do it, then it's not really that impressive anyway. They win it. Year four, all right, now they're going for a three-peat shot. Kobe, Michael, whatever, they lose. I think the worst thing to happen, not the worst thing, but I think it was bad for the NBA that Durant and Steph won year one. Had they lost year one, I bet Durant never would have left. But because they won, everyone's like, yeah, we fucking knew you would win. That was too easy. So I think sometimes like adversity can be good for long-term success of storylines, whatever. Here's why I bring all that up. Sneakily, I think while it was exhilarating to watch and great for the legend of the player and the coach, for NFL conversation next season, I think the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl was a sneaky bad thing.
Yes.
Because now there is every NFL conversation is going to almost either implicitly or explicitly include, like, nobody is going to feel almost allowed to doubt the Chiefs. Like, if the Chiefs start 4-4, is anyone going to feel comfortable being like, well, now they're cooked? You know what I mean? Like, now and so there is a level of, because they looked so bad, it was statistically, record-wise, all these things, their worst year. And then they won anyway. And it's not like, well, the bracket broke for them. It's like, no, they had to beat Buffalo, Baltimore, San Francisco.
Yep.
It's going to be a tough sell on any of those.
So what Kansas City is becoming is New England, a more entertaining version. So who beat New England in the Super Bowl? The Giants twice by an inch, and the Eagles on trick plays and maneuvering.
Right.
You got to a point in the AFC, even young Mahomes, nobody was, at the end, they had the cheat code. They knew the Rubik's Cube. Is Big Ben in Pittsburgh were not sophisticated enough offensively. Peyton Manning having to go to Foxborough again. Andy Dalton, roll your eyes. Flacco, may be able to do it once. But really, they mastered the AFC. They had a weak division. They always played in Foxborough. They always got the bye for older teams. And it was like, oh, they win a game and they're in the AFC Championship. That's what Kansas City. That's why Harbaugh to the Chargers is good for the league. Now it's like, they can't go on a 2-game losing streak. Now, I don't think the Chargers this year will quite be there. But I think what the Chiefs are becoming is their losses will only be in Super Bowls. I do not believe Burrow's health is trustable. I think Buffalo and Baltimore, this was the year with a young KC offense and Kansas City having to travel. I think Kansas City is going to be New England. The AFC is overwhelmingly, because, by the way, there's a really big chance you're not going to get a quarterback as gifted as Josh Allen, or as electric as Lamar, or as accurate as Burrow. And if they can't do it, you may not get another one.
And if they can't do it, and two of those three got their shot at them this year in their building
and lost
and with a wounded Chiefs team, it's
going to be McVay and Stafford that knock them off.
It's going to have to be.
When the San Francisco 49ers, the last couple of years, when Kansas City or Philadelphia have literally marched up and down the field against that defense, Jesus. I mean, you got Bosa's, you got Armstead, you've got, at the time, Hufanga, Fred Warner, linebackers marching up. And by the way, D'Amico Ryans was a DC, a brilliant DC. When San Francisco can't stop people, you get to a point of, I mean, like Kansas City was very rare. You were like, it was a great defense outside of Chris Jones, really not household names.
No.
But I think what you're seeing in the draft, and I think Kansas City, because what makes their dynasty so fascinating, Andy Reid has never had an affinity for power. He's an artist. He has an affinity for creativity and play calling. So I contend Pete Carroll's dynasty lasts longer, but Pete, having been a college guy, he liked controlling personnel. Belichick at the end liked controlling personnel. And he's not into that. And what makes this dynasty so frightening is that you're never going to have a coach. He's an artist. He's not a big, a lot of these guys seek power, and he's never sought power. He seeks a good time, creativity, and play design. And that gives you a sense of, because what broke up the Lakers, Shaq and Kobe? All dynasties, they start with hard work and vision. Resilience and toughness maintains it, and the corruption of power ends it. New England, Belichick wanted control. Riley, Phil Jackson, Kobe, control. The Heatles at the end, LeBron's like, it's aging. I want some control and personnel. Kansas City is like San Antonio Spurs. Duncan didn't want it, right? Duncan had no interest in anything other than being affordable to the organization so the organization could grow. That's why they'll never do a documentary. They'll never do a documentary on the Spurs. There was no drama.
So there's Kansas City has a lot of edges on the sustainability here. So and this guy deserves credit. John Dorsey was the head personnel guy there.
Yes.
And Andy did want his guy in, and his guy was Veach.
Yeah.
Veach, who I think Andy told you this, Veach was Andy's assistant. Like, you know what I mean? Like assistant when he came in. So they have been together for Veach's whole career. Veach also has on his resume that when he was a scout, he was the guy who, when Mahomes' first year as a starter, went into the Chiefs and said, sorry, my light's screwing up, but I'll get it right. Said, this is the best football player, the best quarterback I've ever seen. We need to get him. And so now their process is Andy stays out of it entirely. And then Veach and company bring him and Spagnuolo. They curate the names from 500 to 50 and say, okay, watch you. We have these are our guys that we think fit what you want, whatever it is. You guys watch these guys. So instead of having to watch everyone, you guys watch these guys, give us your thoughts, and then we do it cumulatively. There also is, to me, an element of that helps the Chiefs that Mahomes, Andy was already a Hall of Famer when Mahomes got there. And so there wasn't a Belichick, Brady, neither one of us did anything without each other. There was almost like a fatherly respect there that one of them has. And when Mahomes signed his deal, he said, I wouldn't have signed this 10-year deal without believing Andy's going to be here. No, so I just think that the fact that I don't think there's ever going to be Reid ego thing, because it is so much closer to a grandfather-son relationship than Belichick Brady ever could have been, than so many of these other things. And Brett and Andy are in a spot where Brett understands, like, hey, this guy is responsible for this, me getting a lot of opportunities in my career. And now that I am the guy, I think he's considered probably one of, if not the best GM in football. Andy's in a place in his career where he likely doesn't want to do a lot. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff that some of the meddling coaches would want to do, because Andy wants to draw up plays. And he wants to draw up plays and to do those things. So it is a really unique setup they have, where it's not that people don't have egos. I think all of them have significant egos, but their egos don't step on each other's egos. If you know what I mean? Like they are looking for credit. I don't even know how much credit they're looking for, but they believe they're great at distinct things that don't really overlap with each other. So they all can be the best at what they do without needing to like merit out credit for, who gets credit for what in the dynasty.